Hello again. Welcome to Summit VB Fan. I'm your host, Jeremy Cleveland, and the countdown to first serve is over. It's time to talk about opening day of college volleyball in the Summit League. Now, I'm recording this early because unfortunately my family travels on Wednesday down to Minneapolis because we like to be the first people at the gate for the opening day of the Minnesota State Fair on Thursday. That's kind of our family tradition anyway. I was waiting for the Summit League preseason poll to come out, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. I'm sure it'll drop the second I record this or the second I hit the road, but can't wait to see that. But on Friday, we will have 9 matches involving Summit League teams. St. Thomas does not play on Friday. Everyone else does. We will see Kansas City with 2 matches and Oral Roberts with 2 matches. First match of the day, 10 a.m. Yeah, we get early volleyball. That gets me all excited. Now, based on what I could find anyway, 4 of the matches will be on TV. We'll have 3 on ESPN Plus and 1 on the Pac-12 YouTube network. Subject to change, of course, though. I've seen some misleading information out there, conflicting information out there, but hopefully this is the final schedule and the actual schedule of events and TV coverage for Friday. Now, before we go game by game here, just a reminder, in my opinion, we're all friends until September 24th when league play starts. My goal as a fan anyway, I want everyone to win, help those computer numbers, help the RPI numbers, and put the Summit League in a position to get an at-large bid for the 3rd consecutive year. Now, the Summit League will have 85 non-conference matches this year. We know some of the teams scheduled extremely difficult this year. So the current Massey projections, anyway, have the Summit League going 31-54 in the non-conference. Now, I believe the Summit's going to do a whole lot better than that. My magic number is the number 43. If the Summit League can get to 43 wins, well, out of 85 matches, that means the Summit League would be one of the few conferences or leagues out there to have a winning record in the non-conference. So that's my goal. Hopefully, we can roll up the sleeves and get the job done here in the month of August and September. So now, let's go game by game for Friday. We'll start in Clarksville at 10 a.m. Central. It's Kansas City taking on Jackson State. The Massey projection gives Kansas City a 73% win probability. Projected result there has the Roos winning 3-1. Now, Jackson State, they're projected 3rd out of 12 teams in the SWAC. They do return Hope Briggs, an outside hitter, 6-footer. She's a senior, 3.25 points per set last year, had a .318 hitting percentage. Now, one big roster note here, they have no players over 6 foot on the roster. So unlike Summit League action where they're going to see a whole lot of height, they're not going to see it in this particular matchup against the Tigers. So hopefully that'll favor Kansas City, put them in a position to put up some good numbers from an attack percentage and get the win for the Summit League to start the season. Let's go to match number 2 on the board. It is Oral Roberts taking on Stonehill at 2 p.m. Central. This one's in Louisiana. Once again, no TV for this one either. The Massey projection has Oral Roberts with a 97% win probability. Projected result, Oral Roberts in the sweep, 3-0. Now, for Stonehill, they're projected tied for 5th out of 8 in the Northeast Conference. They were 6-24 a season ago. They do return 4 starters from last year that started in 20-plus matches. They have a couple good ones there in Sam Lloyd and Abby Farrell. Those are names to watch there. But in this one, once again, Oral Roberts is the favorite with a 97% win probability. So maybe the Summit will start 2-0 on Friday. Match number 3, it is Kansas City against UT Martin. This one will be at 4 p.m. Central. Once again, back in Tennessee. And once again, no TV for this one on Friday. Massey projection here gives the Roos a 89% win probability. Projected result, Kansas City, 3-1. UT Martin, they're in the OVC, the Ohio Valley Conference. They were 4-25 a season ago. Their preseason rank is 7th out of 9 teams in the conference. The Skyhawks do have 2 players listed on the preseason award list. Martin, an outside hitter, 6-foot sophomore, and then a 6'3" middle blocker. They made the watch list. The other note here on their roster, only 3 freshmen on the roster, and they have 11 players 6 feet or taller. So a little taller team, a little more experienced team there with only 3 freshmen on the roster. So compared to that first match, could be a little more challenging for the Roos to get it done. But once again, projections have Kansas City getting the job done on the 3rd match of the day for the Summit League. Match number 4, we go back to Oral Roberts. They take on Nicholls at 5 o'clock in Louisiana. And Massey projection here has Oral Roberts with a 79% win probability. Projected result 3-1 Oral Roberts. For the Nicholls out of the Southland Conference, they were 13 and 16 a season ago. Their preseason rank is 11th out of 12 teams. No preseason award winners listed for them. They do have a setter and a middle blocker that return after starting all 29 matches last season. So they do have a core of experience returning there. But once again, the computer numbers favor Oral Roberts to get the job done for the Summit League in the 4th match of the day on Friday. Next up, we go to Seattle. It's a good one. It's North Dakota and Eastern Washington at 5 o'clock. This one will be our first TV game. This will be available on ESPN+. The Massey projection favors the Eagles of Eastern Washington with a 54% win probability. Projected result, Eastern Washington in a 5-set thriller, 3-2. Now, Eastern Washington is in the Big Sky Conference. They were just 3-25 a season ago. Their preseason projection this year is to finish 10th out of 11 teams. They do have an outside hitter and a middle blocker that return after making 25 starts a season ago, and they do have height. We heard this from Coach David Wynn. He mentioned it. They have a 6'5" middle blocker or outside hitter and Aaron McGinnis to watch there for the Eagles. So that's what we can see in this one. This is one of the first real big coin flip games, according to Massey projections, with UND as a slight underdog against Eastern Washington. So can't wait to see how this one plays out on Friday. Next up, we go to Malibu, California. It is South Dakota State taking on Sacramento State, and the Jackrabbits will play at 5 p.m. Central. And this one, unfortunately, does not appear to be on TV. I'm hoping that's a mistake, but right now, anyway, I'm not seeing the TV. Massey projections give South Dakota State a 76% win probability. Projected result here, South Dakota State 3-1. Now, Sacramento State this year is in the Big West. They went 20-10 a season ago. They're projected to finish 5th out of 12 teams. They're nicknamed the Hornets, and oh boy, they have one that can sting. This Victoria Marthauer, an outside hitter, 6'1", all Big West team, 4.89 kills percent last year, 533 kills. Those are monster numbers. I can't believe those. They jump off the page. So circle Marthauer a couple times if you're following this live box score with South Dakota State. She's going to put up some points, I'm sure of that. Now, roster note here, they do have 4 starters returning and 10 total players returning from a season ago. So this is an experienced Sacramento Hornets team with a high-level impact player. If there were concerns about maybe the blocking of South Dakota State this year, they're going to get tested for Coach Dan in their very first match. This is not going to be easy, but once again, computer projections do favor South Dakota State. Should be a fun one to follow on Friday. Next up, we go to what I think is the match of the day for the Summit League. It's a big one in Des Moines. It's South Dakota taking on Drake, and I put verse there, but it should be at Drake. This is a road game at Drake, 6 p.m. Central, first serve. This one will be on ESPN+. Now, Massey projection gives Drake a 64% win probability. Projected result here, Drake 3-2. I'll tell you right now, if South Dakota doesn't win this one, I will be surprised. Once again, the computer projections, I don't think, take into account enough the returning roster. And with South Dakota returning 98% of the point production from a season ago and adding a dynamic, elite, sensational freshman that's a top 100 recruit and Gabby Zachariason, I think South Dakota is a whole lot better than 95. I think they're going to be in the top 50 before it's all said and done this year. But we'll just talk about Drake quick here. They're in the Missouri Valley Conference. They've been consistently a very good program, 12-4 in the conference last year behind Northern Iowa. They're projected there again. UNI is going to be the top dog of the Missouri Valley, but Drake should be the number 2 player. Roster notes here, they have an all-freshman, Carolyn Smith. She returns. She's a right side hitter. Bliss Beck, a middle blocker, hit 353 last year and had 1.04 blocks per set. So once again, South Dakota going to get tested. They're going to get tested on the road. It's going to be an unhappy environment for them, or a rough environment. But once again, I think the Coyotes are going to get the job done and flip one of these games with the Massey projections. When we looked at the Massey numbers once again on what they think the Summit's going to do, I think they're going to move this one from the loss column to the win column when it's all said and done on Friday. But I will definitely be following this one on ESPN Plus on Friday night. Next up, we go to New Orleans. It's North Dakota State on the road to take on Tulane. Once again, this is a true road match for the Bison. I have a 6:30 p.m. Central start according to ESPN, so hopefully that start time's right. I don't want to be late to the party, and once again, it's on ESPN Plus for me to watch. Massey projection has Tulane with a 53% win probability. Projected result, 3-2 Tulane. Well, they don't know the history of Jennifer Lopez. She went 5-0 in 5-set matches last year. If this goes 5, advantage Bison right there. But Tulane, the Green Wave, they're out of the American Athletic Conference, one of the bigger conferences out there. They were 11-16 a season ago. Their preseason rank this year is 12th out of 13 teams. They do have one on the preseason award list. That's a good one. It's Avery Burks, a 6'1" outside hitter. She had 4.19 kills per set last year, 440 kills on the season. So that's a name North Dakota State's going to have an answer for to keep this one in the win column. Roster notes here. I called this one out because Tulane has a number 53 in the roster. I don't know in volleyball if I've seen a 53. I haven't been watching long enough, of course, but maybe they happen consistently. But 53's on the roster, so double check the program when she comes in. They do return 4 players that started 14 or more matches last year. So once again, a nice core of experience there. They also have Lauren Mack, an outside hitter, 5'9", that has the second most production returning. So once again, when you look at the Massey numbers, Tulane is the slight favorite, but I think this is another one that's going to go from the loss column to the win column for the Summit League. I think North Dakota State, once again, is a whole heck of a lot better than a 165 Massey. I have high expectations for Coach Lopez and the Bison. I might be a homer because I'm a fan, but I like North Dakota State to get the job done once again in New Orleans on Friday. Then the final game on the card for the Summit on Friday night, it's going to be Omaha. The Mavericks on the road at Washington State. Another true road match here. This is an 8 p.m. Central start in Pullman, and you can find this one on the Pac-12 YouTube network. Massey projection, Washington State with a 93% win probability. Projected result, 3-0 Washington State. Not so fast, my friend. I think this is going to be a whole lot closer than that. Washington State is back in the Pac-12. They were 17-11 a season ago. They're projected in the new look Pac-12 to finish 5th out of 9 teams. They have 3 players on the impact list for preseason awards, a 5'9" outside hitter, a 5'8" libero, and a 6'2" middle blocker. Those are the players that made their impact list. They do have 6 players on the roster, 6'2" or taller, so Omaha's height and size maybe not going to be a huge advantage against Washington State because the Cougars are somewhat similar. And then another call out here, they only have 1 freshman on the entire roster. That's kind of crazy to see. They have 7 fourth-year players at Washington State. So Omaha is going to run into a tough challenge here. But once again, I think the Mavericks are going to be a team that's going to bounce back this year. I don't expect them to get swept. They may lose this match, but I think they're going to get at least a set off of the Cougars on Friday night, and hopefully they'll get more than that. But, hey, that's a look at all the matches across the Summit League. I'm going to do this for game day. I'm normally going to record the night before the matches, or worst case scenario, I guess the morning of the matches. Yeah, I'll be back with you either Friday night or Saturday morning, and I'll be back online Friday to tweet during the matches, and hopefully we have a great opening day of Summit League volleyball across the board. Until we meet again, everyone, get ready for some volleyball.